Hey guys, welcome to the Unleash podcast brought to you by Hidden Gen, where we talk about how to unleash your hidden potential. I'm your host, Yuri Diogenes, and we have a great episode for you today featuring Caleb Mitchell. Caleb, thanks for being on today.
Thank you, Yuri. Appreciate it.
Before we jump into today's topic, we'd like to invite you to subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. Also, you can visit hiddengen.net, and all the episodes will be there. And if you live in the area, you have not been at Hidden Gen, you can visit hiddengen.net and get a free trial pass. All right. So, Caleb, tell us a little bit more about this design beef product. What is about what it is really the big advantage of going through your product rather than just buy a normal regular beef?
Yeah, it's a great question, Yuri. That's firstly a couple of things. Obviously, because of the fact that food is at a really, it's in a really hard supply right now. There's a lot of it's difficult to get good beef at the grocery store, but more than that, you don't know what's going into your meat. There's no way to control that. You can't. The end consumer just purchases what's in the window at the shop or the butcher or the grocery store. They can't control what the cow has been fed and what in turn they're getting into their bodies at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I can just start just to give you a little bit of a background on our company and how we started. Is that
Yeah,
good?
sure.
Cool. So we actually started a co-op of four. I was one of the original four in the co-op. I'm not the owner of the business. I don't own the business, but I know one of the owners in the business, and we started together working. We were doing hunting, and so we process elk and deer and pig and all that. So wild boar, and so we're like, what's to do a cow? Can't be that hard, right? Can't be more difficult than doing all those things. So we decided to go ahead and try it, and we did. We did our first cow together. Four of us went in on it, and it was actually pretty cool. Was obviously a lot of rust in the process and figuring stuff out and getting things going, but it was pretty cool. So we got the bug pretty quickly. And then a year later, we went to Glasgow, Scotland, and we had the first taste of 45-day aged tomahawk ribeye steak. And it was over at that point. I was like, there's nothing better than this. This is incredible. And so we're like, we got to totally do this. We got to do dry aged steak. And so we came back and we put this thing together. We did a makeshift cooler, like a cooler on the back of a truck kind of thing. And so we literally did 50-day aged cow beef, And so we processed that and we cut it all up, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And so we had one of our friends that had just recently sold his business, tried some of the steak, and he's like, this is the best steak I've had in my entire life. And he said, I want to invest in the business. And so that's how Designer Beef officially got started, was through all of that. And so now the rest is history.
Now, when does the name really means that you're gonna design what you're gonna consume? Well, what do you really choose?
Yeah, exactly. Let me go through the basic process of it. So we're a private exclusive ranch, which means we're even though we serve the public, we're not open to the public. It's like a members only type club situation. We don't deal with grocery stores. We don't sell to restaurants. And so what we do is we deal directly with the consumer. That enables them to have the best savings and to be able to control what goes into the cows. And they're actually technically steers is what we actually process. So the way that it works is that we have all different kinds of 3 different breeds of cows that they can choose from. We've got Black Angus, which is typically more of a heavily marbled breed. And then we've got the Charolais, which is a medium marbling to the meat. And then we have Limousin, which is extremely lean. So you can customize and control by picking the breed of cow that genetically, naturally has tendencies towards more marbling in the meat or more fat around the outside or leaner on the inside. You can control the fat content of the meat genetically to start with. Then from there, we introduce the feed programs. Now, feed is huge. Sometimes a lot of times you hear people say, well, grass-fed's really good. Grass-fed consists of them the ranchers putting the cows out in pasture. and then they eat whatever's in the pasture, but you can't control what they're eating. They're eating what's available, and it's not really a good mix of diet. And so a lot of times there's a lot of people don't like the taste of grass-fed beef. So what we do is we can control every single element. We have a nutritionist on site who is their number one job and sole focus. They're actually a doctorate in ruminology, is to generate and design and engineer the best diets for the cattle, regardless of the feed program that they're on. So one thing that's really great about that is that we have flaxseed and cottonseed mixed into the diet on all of our cattle. And I'm sure, as you guys would know, flaxseed and cottonseed, those type of substances and nutrients actually promote the growth of omega-3s in meat, which are the healthy fats that you get in salmon and avocado, for example.
Yeah, yeah. So do you also select, once you select all that, then you select also the cut that you want?
Yeah, fully customizable. So we have different packages that we offer. We have quarter, half, and whole. So you can actually, in processing that, we contact you and we talk with you about what you would like to process, how you'd like to process it. You could say, I want as many steaks as you can get, and then the rest hamburger. Or I want tomahawk ribeyes 2-inch thick, for my ribeyes. So you get, it's not like the front right quarter or the back left quarter of the cow, the steer. You actually are getting a quarter of all the cuts of the beef or half of the cuts of all the beef, and just however you want it processed.
Now, you say that because I actually visit the website, and one of the appeals is that it's very affordable. Is that it's not really compared to other supermarket or things like that. It's affordable when you compare to other competitors that you have?
So yeah, that's a great question. So before I answer that question, I want to add one more thing in regards to one of the values that we offer, because then you can understand how it's comparative or cheaper than other areas and other competitors. So all of our cattle go through a Wahoo Lifestyle experience, which is stress-free. That's real important, because when your cows are under stress, the endorphins go into the meat and it taints the meat, changes the flavor, increases it makes them not as tender when you're eating them as well. So particularly if you're consuming a lot of protein, you want to have something that's going to be good tasting and tender and enjoyable. And so that's a big deal. The Wahoo Lifestyle is huge. What we do is we're not like the other ranchers where we have our cows controlled in a pen. We have them free to range, come and go as they please. We have an open barn, massive open barn facility where they can actually come in and out, and they get sand bedding to lay down in. There's filtered water from the drink, fans and misters for the summer heat. So it's a really lush lifestyle, which means really great tasting tender beef. So all of that adds value to what we do, because when you go to the grocery store, you don't get any of that, right? Mm-hmm. And also, too, the equivalent of what we do is prime quality beef. So we're providing prime quality beef to our customers. And so what it enables us to do with the way that we do our pricing is it gets the price of prime quality beef all the way down to around $9.20 a pound on average, which if you go to the grocery store lately, I don't know if you've been lately, but I was at Kroger's the other day and they had Wagyu ribeyes, $35 a pound on sale for $26.99.
Wow. Yeah. And do you have like a minimal requirement if I go to the website and try to buy, or you can pick and choose whatever?
So no, just quarter, half, or whole, and it's all based on the amount of usage that you have. So the way that you kind of gauge that is to figuring, well, how much meat am I going to use? How am I going to eat? The national average for a family of 4, and this is national average, so it's obviously maybe different than your family, consumes anywhere from 60 to 80 pounds of beef per month on a monthly basis. So if you're feeding more than that, then you can kind of figure out where that might roll. And then if you're feeding less than that, like a family of 2, national average would be 30 to 40 pounds of beef a month. And you may supplement with different forms of protein. A lot of people do, chicken breasts or fish or whatever. So you got different dietary needs based on what you're looking to do, especially if you're working out, what stage of your process you're in, whether you're bulking or whether you're, cutting and all of that. So that's all a factor that's involved. But what this enables you to be able to do is to have a quality supply of beef that you know is going to be the most incredible beef you've ever had. We have a 100% money back guarantee on all of our meat,
Mm-hmm.
which you can't find anywhere. If it's not the best steak you've ever had, get your money back.
Amazing.
So
Do you
big deal.
also is this also available for ground beef if I want to ground beef?
Yes, and it's funny you should say that. So ground beef, it's absolutely available as well because when we process according to what you're looking for. But one of the things that we haven't mentioned yet is dry aging. Have you ever had dry aged steak before?
No.
No? Oh man, you're missing out. So it's really that good. I mean, I was telling you we got kind of got in touch with that in Scotland, and so for us that's a big deal. The taste is just incredible, and literally, I was out there 3 weeks ago on Thursday. We were processing some sample cows actually for the event that we have coming up at Hidden Gym this weekend.
Yeah, Greg was telling me about.
Yeah, we're doing a cookout for the athletes for the powerlifting competition. So, and anybody is welcome to come in and get a free hamburger. So, but the way we're doing 55-day aged hamburgers,
Wow.
and the steaks at that. When I was there processing, we took some samples of the steaks because you can't do all that work and not take a sample of the sample cow. Literally, we were cutting them with a plastic fork. They were that tender.
Wow.
And the other thing too, this is crazy, the hamburger themselves. So with 55-day age hamburger, the flavor gets absorbed into the meat. So it holds the flavor with, and if you want to call it the water, the extra water evaporates. So you're getting concentrated flavor and it doesn't shrink when you cook it on the grill. It stays the same size. And you don't need anything on it at all. And I was like, no, there's no way. And so they're like, no, you got to try this. You got to do it. Just trust me. Just do it one time. Because, when you get a hamburger, you got all these condiments you put on there and you got your bacon and maybe blue cheese or whatever flavors, jalapenos. And he's like, okay, no, we're just going to do plain burgers. Plain burgers. He's like, no ketchup, no condiments, no bun. What? And so it's crazy because we tried it the first time and there was a bunch of us sitting around the table that were all the people that were working on processing and all that. And so we tried it and our eyes just like opened and our jaws dropped. Like, this flavor is unbelievable. And we just started eating the burgers by themselves.
I can imagine. I'm already hungry right now just by listening to you. Well, and I saw also on the website that you guys actually deliver that, right?
Yes, we actually do. So we deliver to your home. We can do that. You can come by and pick it up at our location as well at the ranch. That's fine, depending upon what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But we do deliver to your home. We don't deliver outside the state of Texas. So not as of this moment, but we do deliver to your home in the state of Texas, and depending upon how far it is and what size package. But the whole DFW area and surrounding areas, we service no problem whatsoever.
Is this a limitation that you cannot ship meat outside of the state of Texas? Or you guys still expanding this?
We're expanding. Exactly right. So right now we're in process of expanding. So eventually we will be able to ship interstate and then across the country. But as of right now, at this moment, because we started in the Paris, Texas, Blossom area, and that's where we got our start. And then we're expanding to all of the North Texas and greater Texas area. So, but we will eventually be going outside of the state as well and be able to ship and deliver to different parts of the country as well, as needed.
And when you say they can pick up at the ranch, what is the ranch?
Where is the ranch?
Mm-hmm.
So it's in Detroit, Texas, which is about 20 minutes outside of Paris, Texas. Most people aren't familiar with Detroit, Texas. They think it's Michigan. It's not Michigan. But 20 minutes outside of Paris. We're looking at around about probably an hour and 45 minutes from the DFW area, something close to that.
Yeah, not too far. Not too far.
No, it's not far at all. And I was mentioning too that we have the events at our ranch, like where we open up the facility. I think I mentioned that we have one coming up, but so our ranch is private and exclusive, like a members only club. But twice a year we open up our ranch to our customers for them to come out.
Any customer, it doesn't need to be a member.
Nope, just has to be a customer of ours. So one of our customers that actually is on a quarter, half a whole package. They get to come out. They get to tour the entire facility. They get to see their cow if they want to. If they don't want to, they don't have to. And then we take them on the tour of the state of the art processing center that we have there, and the dry aging facility, which happens to be the largest dry aging facility in the state of Texas. We can process 100. We can actually dry age 120 cows at the same time.
Wow.
Uh, so it's a big deal. But they get to see the lifestyle, and then also at that point, at the end of the tour, we do a cookout with all of the 55 days ribeyes and fillets and hamburgers. So
Wow. When is the next one so I can register?
yeah, it's coming up here in March or April. So they're trying to work out with the weather and everything what's the best date. But
And
yeah,
probably on the weekends, right?
it'll be on a weekend. Yeah, for sure. We'll do it on a day that's good for everyone. Probably a Saturday, but we'll reach out to our customers beforehand. And all somebody has to do to be eligible is to put down the deposit on their order, and then they're eligible to come out there and try it. So it's pretty cool.
Now, so that's another point that I want to clarify. To buy through the website, you first have to create a kind of a membership.
No, so we don't actually take orders online. Our website right now is informational only, and so they can look at us online and read about. There's different blogs on there that talk about, the different important things to do with nutrition and to do with cows and all of that. So all of the orders are done over the phone. So there's a phone number for them to call that's on the website that they can actually go to and respond, or they can fill out a form on the website, and then we reach out to them and go over the details with them for their customizing their order.
But
So
any reason why you're not doing online yet, or this is also coming?
it probably will eventually come, but right now it's just in person. It's just over the phone, and part of it is because of the fact that we do have conversations we need to have with the customer. What's their need? How much meat are they consuming? What are they looking at in the breed versus Angus versus Limousine or versus Charolais? And then of course the feed programs, and we can kind of help structure that for them, answer a lot of the questions that wouldn't be on the website. And it would take harder for them to find the information on. So it kind of answers that questions and gives them peace of mind, and then we can move from there. So that's what we do.
If, let's say, for a very new customer that does not really have all this information, they just want really a lean beef, do you also try to educate them on the options?
Yes. Exactly. If they're looking for something that's that they just want any kind of beef whatsoever, that they don't care really the details on it,
Hmm.
we still help go through. Okay, because they don't know what the difference is
Right,
between
exactly.
and a Limousin and an Angus. So we're like, okay, well, how do you typically like your meat when you go to steakhouse, for example?
Hmm.
Well, I don't know, but I like ribeyes. Okay, so then you probably like the marbling side of the meat, right? Yeah, absolutely. Well, the heavily marbling, that's something you're going to achieve with more of the Angus versus if you're looking for something that's just I love filet all the way, lean and mean, real tender but real lean, then Limousine might be the way for you to go with that to get all of that.
Hmm.
So we can help steer them in those directions based on what they're kind of looking and leaning towards.
Yeah, for sure. What do you call this VIP lifestyle? Is that the lifestyle for the cow itself?
That's right. So you know what? It's funny you should say that because I've had customers that have said to me, "Hey, I want to come out there and stay there for a week." So, but yes, the VIP is what we refer to. It's that Wahoo lifestyle.
Hmm.
And to give some people some clarification, because I know some people more discerning and understand what Wagyu means. Wagyu is actually a Japanese word, and it means Japanese cattle. There's 4 different breeds of Wagyu, and you have like Kobe is one of those. It's one of the larger strains of the breed of Wagyu, and that's why it gets a lot of reputation. Kobe beef all over the world. Everybody talks about it, hears about it. Well, what happens is that you have ranchers that actually purchase the genetic cows, right, or steers, bring them over to the United States, and then put them on a farm, and assuming that they're going to be exactly the same as they are in Japan. Well, the reason why the Japanese cattle have a reputation as the Wagyu, right, the breeds, as the best tasting, most tender meat is because of the lifestyle. It's because of how they're controlling and feeding the animals and giving them a stress-free environment, very holistic in approach. And so I've had people over here that have had Wagyu beef, and they're like, "Yeah, I've had Wagyu, but it's really not that much different from regular beef." And that's the reason. So when we do the Wagyu lifestyle, I'll tell you right now, the steaks that I tried the other day, and I've traveled the world. I've been to Australia, New Zealand, Europe, Asia, all different parts of the world, and I've had high-end steaks at different places. The steaks that we have are the best tasting I've had in my entire life. So, and it's because of what we do with the stress-free environment and how we take care of them and how we feed them and nurture them. So,
And when did you guys start it? I don't recall you saying the year.
yeah, so we started the co-op back in 2015. Yeah, 2015. Started doing the dry aging in 2016, and then we started scaling what we did to designer beef last year. So, as officially without large facility, without massive ranch, and all of the dry aging and all of that, that was done last year. So now we're just doing really really well and growing at a rapid rate, and thanks to COVID partly.
Yeah, that's what was going to be my next question. If COVID came and makes things difficult, or actually you saw a gain on customers because they were at home all the time and they had to order food.
Well, actually, a little bit different. So the prices have gone up. COVID has affected so many things, and just organically, I guess, if you want to
Hmm.
say across the board, because the cost of business is a lot higher now with people having to do things. Plus, processing. If you're looking on the beef side, processing facilities on beef are 6 to 8 months behind.
Wow.
So if you go and buy a cow from somebody's field and you want to go process that, you're going to have to wait 6 to 8 months. But that cow that can't wait 6 to 8 months, right?
Hmm.
The cow has to be processed immediately. The great thing with what we do is that we have our own processing facility on site that's just for our customers. It's not for anybody else. So they never have that bottleneck. But that caused a lot of problems. And then because of the fact that when you're going from pasture to plate, right, at the say you're going through the grocery store or range to restaurant, you've got all these vendors in between, and all those vendors have their markup.
Right.
And now when the cost of them doing business gets higher, then everybody has to increase exponentially, and then the customer gets the bill for all of that at the end. But our process is great because it gives customer guaranteed supply of beef at a low cost that they can guarantee. And the price stays the same for the next, like for this year and for next year too. So it's really a 2 year price lock on the low prices that we have for all of that. But it's a guaranteed supply of beef at the same time, which for a lot of people, especially if you're consuming a lot of protein, that's a big deal.
Yeah. Well, I'm Brazilian, so we like a lot of steak in Brazil. You know
Yeah.
some really great Brazilian steakhouse in Texas, of course. You probably been one of those. And there is a particular type of cut that we had in Brazil called picanha. So I'm not sure if you are familiar with it. Uh,
Yeah, I do know about it. It's called different, but yes, is that right? It's round steak, right?
yeah,
Isn't that
it's
right?
close to to round steak.
Yes.
So you guys
Yeah,
have that too?
we can process any way you want us to process. So that's the great thing about it. It's not okay, you get this many ribeyes, this many fillets, this much hamburger. No, we call you and we say, okay, so how would you like it processed? And then you tell us. We have customers that want the bones for bone marrow because bone marrow is just amazing. So, and most people wouldn't think about that. So again, we do it, we customize it based on that. But yes, we can definitely do that for on the Brazilian side. And we have other people that from different nationalities that have different natural things they like from their culture,
Hmm.
and we were able to do those as well.
This
So
is really
yeah.
cool. This is really cool because sometimes it's really hard to find this level of customization just in a butcher.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So
I don't think it exists anywhere else that I know of.
so what you're saying that you have no competitor that does the same thing?
Exactly.
That's
Nobody does the same thing for cheaper price. That's for sure. Because with the way that we do it, it's it's like going directly to the farm. Well, you are going directly to the farmer effectively, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of the ranch.
Mm-hmm.
We traveled to Maine for a vacation just back in November, October, end of October. And so we went there for the lobster and the food. And so, of course, if you buy a whole Maine lobster here, it's going to be like $80, right?
Mm.
Market price. If you buy it in Maine, it's like $39 or $40 or $45, right? Market price there. And so, but if you go to the fish market, you can get it for $8 a pound. Or if you buy it from the fishermen, you can get them for $5 each.
True.
You see the difference,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's all to do with about the markups with the vendors in between. So that's why it's such a great value to be able to go directly to the source.
So going straight to you guys, we bypass a lot of other steps, basically.
100%. Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I
It's
think that
exactly.
people don't realize that because every time that they see those fancy beefs and everything, they immediately imagine, man, this should be probably very expensive.
Yeah, it definitely is. That's what they think. And so it's because again, they're so used to paying a lot of money. I think somebody was telling me, well, when we were doing the dry aged steaks, the dry aged tomahawks, cooking them on the grill, um, and tasting them. We're like, oh my gosh, these are so good. And so we're like, I wonder how much they are for 55-day aged tomahawk steaks. So we searched it on Google. We Googled it,
Mm-hmm.
right, to try and find where you can buy 55-day aged steaks, not at a restaurant, but just buy them. And they were like $200 to $300 a steak for a 24 to 26 ounce steak.
Oh my goodness, really?
So when you think about what we do, it's a lot different.
Yeah, that's quite amazing. That's really amazing. And so again, it's designyourbeef.com, right?
Fineyourbeef.com. So anybody can go check it out. And if they have any questions, just fill out the contact form on there. And then we'll reach out to them and be able to schedule a time to talk through anything they want to talk through at a time that's convenient, answer any questions, and also to go over the pricing structure that we do on that. I will tell you that it is move quickly because prices are on our website are about to go up. I think it's February 14th is when the prices are going up. And that's because the cost of cows is going up and the cost of feed is at an all-time high as well. But right now we have the old price sheet. So if you move quickly, you actually get the discount and the cheaper prices. And those prices, I was going to say, they lock in for the next 2 years. So we have price lock for that 2 year period. So that helps as
So
well.
you're saying the last time that this price were changed was in 2019?
Yeah, we haven't raised prices since then.
Okay.
Yeah.
And looks like
So
strategically you put this on Valentine's Day, right?
Valentine's Day, right?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean the site has a really good experience. I mean, as a someone from the technology world, I really would love to have the capability to order online. So I think it's an important thing. I know that you have all the conversations, but if you think about, you're probably going to be able to do that in a you know
Sure.
online experience probably. And the site is beautiful. It's very straightforward. I like it. The experience. That's why I was trying to see if I can order online because the way that it's structured, it gives the impression that you are able to do it. And that there is even three steps here. Choose your options, and we raise our cow from different options and pick up your beef. So it almost feels like the experience of choosing three different steps and then you can order. That's good,
Right.
really good, good stuff here. Any final consideration that you have?
No, I mean, if you guys are interested in getting to try it and sample it, we're going to be at the Hidden Gym on Friday, Saturday. It's the February 12th. So this Saturday coming up, so February 12th, between 10 and around 2. So we're going to be cooking out on the sidewalk there out front of the gym during the powerlifting contest. And so if anybody wants to come by, they can get a free sample of free hamburger and try it out and love it. And they're going to love it. So once you try it, you'll definitely want to buy it.
Is there
So.
any other opportunities to try that you have in mind? Upcoming other events that you're gonna be participating?
So we don't. as of the only other one that we have on the calendar right now is the upcoming event for our customers. So once they sign up, they get to try it, because then they can test it and see if they like it and see if they want to dry age or not before they go ahead and decide to dry age. So we do it that way so they can get a good sample and a good taste of it. But that's coming up. I don't want to say that's going to be either it's March, or it's going to be March or April, but we'll work around the schedules of spring break and everything to make sure it's good for everybody.
All right, Caleb, that was a great conversation. I'm definitely very hungry right now, so I appreciate. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Yuri. Appreciate your time.
All right, everyone, that's a wrap for today's episode. Thank you very much for the audience, and see you again next time.